Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Heroes Havens podcast. My name is Jake, and we are on episode 7. Wow. Feels kind of surreal. I recently just hit a milestone with our work podcast, the ones I do with Rich and Frank, and we actually hit the 22 mark. Officially in the 1% club, which is kind of like surreal. It actually didn't hit me until I had posted it. So with my bosses, we have 3 or 4 kind of like backlogged. So we had filmed that one around a month and a half ago. And it just, it hit me when I posted it. Like, we really did it. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to myself. Hoping to take that momentum and carry it here and hit the 22 mark. Gonna hit the 22 mark. There's really no doubt in my mind about it. Just gonna take a little bit of time. So today we are going to be going over a couple of reviews. I actually just 30 minutes ago got out of watching the Demon Slayer movie. So we're going to be reviewing The Infinity Castle. Going to be reviewing The Long Walk, written by Stephen King. Recently just turned into a movie. Going to be reviewing an anime that I just watched called To Be Hero X. Going over my top 5 least favorite MCU films. Really want to dig into the things that I don't like and why I don't like them. Game of the Year predictions and Peacemaker episode 4. Going to be reviewing that. Going to be going into a little more spoiler detailed review so that I can really talk about it and explain my thought process behind everything. And so kind of got some themes inside everything. So going to be going over The Long Walk just because I think that is the only movie that doesn't have a theme correlated to others. So we got the animes, and then we got some Marvel stuff, Marvel, DC, superhero, and then comic book of the week at the end. Yeah, so The Long Walk, written by Stephen King, is essentially I don't want to say Squid Games, but is a life or death based game where if you win, endless kind of riches for you. That's super... what's the word I'm looking for? Top of the... I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, this podcast has made me realize how bad I am at English. It's laughable. But 1 through 10, I'm going to give it I had an 8 in my mind, but I think we're going to go 8.5, 9, maybe 9, 8.5. We'll lock 8.5. Yeah, this movie's amazing. It is a dialogue film. It is a film where people walk until they drop. If you stop walking, you die. Simple as that. There are 50 representatives for each state, and it's a lottery-based thing. And our main character, Ray Garrity, he is the main character of the film, and it's essentially from his point of view, his journey on the long walk, 1 out of 50, and it's phenomenal. It's a dialogue movie, how do you keep the audience engaged for an entire movie when all they're doing is walking forward, There's no turns, maybe there is, it's off camera, but it's just, that's what it is. It's, you're hearing these boys and it's their thought process on everything. It's, it's really interesting. Everyone comes from a different place in life and different reasoning for doing the long walk. And, you even have these people that just, you got these people, it'll obviously change all of their lives, but their motives for doing it. Ray Garrity has a very specific one, and it's fantastic. It's really amazing. I've only talked about Ray Garrity, who was played by Cooper Hoffman, who I actually learned as I was kind of looking up, writing my little write-up I have for this. The son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, and this is the first thing I've ever seen him in, but wow, fantastic job. It takes such an enormous amount of acting to keep everyone engaged in the film, and when you're the main character, it kind of rides on your shoulders. Just a fantastic job, rest in peace, Philip Seymour. And yeah, but the supporting cast, I think, is where this movie really shines. It takes an enormous amount of acting, like I just said, but this movie it has a Stand By Me kind of feel. You know, it's four boys. They call themselves the Musketeer. You get interactions with the other 49 candidates or 46 candidates, but these four are obviously your four main characters, the Musketeers. Peter McVry's David Johnson was in Alien Romulus. Wow. I'm going to start right there because he will be a top 5 actor of the leading coming generation. You know, we don't really know who those prominent actors are quite yet. Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh obviously holding those slots, you know, but I keep saying David. Yeah, David Johnson steals the show. This movie gets elevated an entire rating just because of his performance alone. The way he is he's a main character for sure, and he's not the protagonist, but the way this movie all eyes are constantly on David. He has this aura to him. The way he speaks, it grabs all your ears, you know, when he talks, your eyes, they lock onto him. When they're just walking, you're kind of just looking at Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, Ray Garrity and Peter McVry's. You're just staring at them because, they're the main characters, but there's just something more. And it's those little things and the details of the way he walks, the way he talks. In this movie is just a movie where you're just showing off your acting. I want to give kudos as well to the other actors. We got Ben Wang, who plays Hank Olsen, who is going to be in the Karate Kid movie. Forgive me, I actually don't know if it's out or not yet. I should have done a little more research. And he's done some Disney stuff, but Hank Olsen was my personal favorite character. He's the little comedy of the Musketeers. He's kind of the charismatic of the four, and he's just a phenomenal job. And we have, I do not know how to pronounce this. Forgive me. I mean, no disrespect. We have Tut Nyut, who plays Arthur Baker, who plays this African-American from Louisiana. And he's the soul of the group, you know? This is a weird dynamic because I think David Johnson is the heart of the group. I actually don't know what Ray Garrity kind of plays, you know? You have the comedic relief in Hank Olsen. You have the heart, which is Peter McVry's David Johnson. And then Arthur Baker is the soul that kind of like keeps everyone. Obviously, he's a religiously motivated character, but he just keeps everyone kind of, I don't want to say that extra step because they are not nonstop walking, but he just gives everyone that breath of fresh air again and again and again. And I mean, wow, these actors, all four of them are going to do phenomenal things. They will all win awards one day. David Johnson probably will get an award for this movie. Maybe next week we can go over our award guesses. I'm going to actually write that down because, why not, right? Let's do award guesses for the year of 2025. Yeah. So we'll talk about that next week. But it's amazing. It's phenomenal. All four of them have such amazing careers. And David, I can't explain this enough how much he elevates this movie. He really does a phenomenal job. The way he walks, the way he talks, his presence just, and I think he's one of those actors as well that kind of gets everyone, they instantly see the way he embodies the role. And I think he just brings everyone up with him, whether it's the dialogue, they're pushing a little harder. They're gritty. It's raw. It's raw acting, and you can tell he was born to do this. So really, just kudos to him. And then I kind of want to talk about my flaws I have with the movie. The world. This movie takes place in a world that has this event that happens. And obviously these are all, everything I've said so far is non-spoilers, but like this world is, it's not established. It talks about this war that happens, and you don't get any background information on it. You know, why did the war happen? What kind of war was it? Was it a civil war? Was it a world war? Was it a nuclear war? You know, we don't really know, other than this war happens and it just divides the country. This is an American movie, divides the country, and everyone has lost hope. And I really struggle just to figure out kind of why. Like, why. I understand why these people are doing it, but why is this like a televised thing like The Purge or The Hunger Games? You know, like what has happened for this world to kind of feel gritty like this? Nothing exists outside of this long walk, and I want to know why. I want to know why everyone is rationing, and I want to know why there are still cities, but there isn't. What's the word? Like, I don't know. It just felt hollow. It felt like a hollow world. You know, there's purpose for certain characters doing certain things, but I just think that is something that could have really established, you know, and maybe that's me being harsh coming from a world like in real life, you know, like every movie that comes out is connected to another or has potential for a sequel. And, you know, I understand this being just a standalone thing, obviously a book. It leaves me wanting more, questioning more. Maybe that's the goal of the movie, but I just was a little let down on that. And I was always kind of wondering, like, why? You know, if you offer anyone in this world a chance to make life-changing, generational life-changing money, and then on top of that, anything, you get a wish, and it's anything you want. 99% of us, 90% of us are going to sign up. So yeah. And then another thing I wanted to point out. So this main big bad, the leader of the Long Walk, is played by the Major. Mark Hamill. There's very little dialogue. He just yells at all these guys and constantly says that takes a lot of sack. That takes a lot of sack. You actually don't even see him throughout the movie. He's yelling from this tank that's all the way in the back, and you actually, I couldn't tell you if that's Mark Hamill or not. I wouldn't be surprised if they got him to play his parts and then immediately just audio looped, because it's just telling, that takes a lot of sack, boys. Almost exactly like that. If you're a voice actor manager, hire me. But it was that role was, there was no, the Major in itself felt like an incomplete character. A lot of these people hate the Major. We don't know why. It explains why, but at the same time, it's so much has happened and the Major has done so little. I don't care. This felt like a big time actor getting paid to have his name in the film to sell tickets. And that's what it felt like. You know, this was Mark Hamill's not best work. Every time he's in there, it's just hands on the hips. That takes grit, kid. I like it. You know, that takes sack. He says that takes sack so many times. I would like an official count on that, maybe on a rewatch, or if one of you guys watch it, drop it in the comments. How many times he said that takes sack? But yeah, it was a phenomenal movie. I don't want those little things to take away from it. I want to keep this spoiler free. I try. It's kind of a cop out. I want to keep these as spoiler free as I can, because I would like for you guys to maybe come back or maybe listen to this after you've watched something being this podcast, and tell me what you guys really think about it. And maybe we could have spoilers in the comments, but like, I wasn't a fan of the ending. And yeah, I agree with everything, and I understand why everything happens at the end of the movie, but that I just couldn't wrap my head around. It felt so blatantly obvious that it was stupid. Stephen King, absolute genius. I guess this is not the same ending as the one that's in the book. And it's like, Stephen King's a genius. Why change it? If he wrote it, he hasn't done us wrong before. Like, let's just trust him one more time. But I don't know. That's just my stance on it. The Long Walk, I give it an 8.5. Phenomenal movie. Wouldn't be surprised if this movie got... I think David Johnson's the only one who would get an award. But it was a great movie. I recommend anyone watch it. And now this one, I actually have no notes. Changing topic here. I have 0 notes on this because, like I had said, I am now... Excuse me. Oh my. 45 minutes out of the theater, and I came straight home to film, but I just watched Demon Slayer, The Infinity Castle, and oh man, where do I begin? This movie was fantastic. It's really hard for me to give, and maybe that's why I kind of stopped reading manga, but Demon Slayer was the first manga I ever read from start to finish because it was great. You know, I was watching the anime and I was like, you know what? Why do I have to wait? Let's just watch it. But I had watched it and it kind of takes a lot out of everything when you know what's going to happen. And granted, these movies, there's going to be 3 movies. This was the first, each one coming out 2 years apart. So the next one will be in 2027 and then 2029, the final movie. But it's really hard for me to give these things a grade because there are times where I mentally check out because I know this is like filler backstory. And I don't want to say filler, but I mean, it's like educational backstory for a character. It's slow, it's long, it's boring. But it's boring because I know it. You know, it's obviously, oh, I understand. You connect the dots and you get, like, I understand why this character's doing this with this character. But when you already know it, it's just a drag. And this movie has about an hour chunk of just absolute yap. It is yap filler backstory. And I just kind of checked out, completely checked out. The worst part is that hour is between 2 characters, and the second half is the character that I was extremely excited to see. You get Akaza's backstory, and I'm going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but I am going to say that, like, his backstory is in there. It's not detrimental to, like, the progression of the film. It's just backstory, you know? So I feel comfortable saying, like, this is still going to be non-spoiler-free. But yeah, you get Akaza's backstory, which is very interesting. Top 5 backstories ever for me personally. But it's just at the coming out of another character's backstory. And I was just like, all right, like, what are we doing? We've been here for so long. The movie starts off fast. The animation is phenomenal. I mean, if you've seen season 2 of Demon Slayer, you've seen season 3, you've seen any of them, the Mugen Train movie, fantastic. You know, if Demon Slayer is one of those things that really evolved anime and just anime studios, you know, with that first fight, and I believe it was episode 6 against Rui. When you see Tanjiro do that first water breathing and Nezuko's blood art, just takes, it really did. It took the world and it took anime to that next level. Yeah, so like with the blood art, it took it to the next level, and it was great. It was great. It was great until it wasn't. I realized that now I haven't given this movie a score yet. If I had to give this movie a score as someone who kind of already knows everything, it's getting a 7, you know, a 6 point. I don't want to do 0.8s, 0.9s, you know, it's better than a 6.5. That's low, but I think a 7 feels fair. Just because of that hour long, it was dry. It was very dry. And then obviously, like I said, with everything being split into 3 different movies, you know, a lot of things are left unfinished in this film. And Yeah, the story's phenomenal. If you know Demon Slayer, you know the story. If you have watched Demon Slayer and all you need to do to get caught up is watch this movie, there's not much story left, Mini spoiler for the anime, they just defeated Muzan, but they didn't defeat him. They cut his head off, but they didn't defeat him. So, like, all that's left to do is run the fade. Simple as that. My favorite Hashiras. Muichiro is obviously he's always been my favorite Hashira. You don't really see Muichiro do much. My little blind goat. And yeah, you half the Hashiras do something, the other half are doing something in the next movie, and it's kind of a drag. I don't like the way that they went with this movie. I wish they would have done a fight with X amount of Hashiras, or get certain fights out of the way, but you have to complete them. And a lot of the fights in this movie were not complete. And it's kind of a letdown, because now characters we are going to see on the sideline for 4 years, which is crazy. But we are going to get 4 years of a character just being sidelined. And I don't know. Let me know. What do you think as someone who maybe hasn't read? If you have not read the manga, like, let me know in the comments, like, what are your thoughts if you're caught up on everything, on the thought of waiting for a character to not be seen for another 4 years, Some of us have actually waited for that with main shows, Fire Force has taken 5-6 years to get the next season out. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Demon Slayer, I'd probably give it a 7. And then on the topic of anime, I want to go over an anime which I had seen a clip on Twitter, which I thought looked phenomenal. And it got me back, I watched this one anime. I just finished it, and it's called To Be Hero X. Yeah, it looked so beautiful, and I think I'm back watching anime. I've been slowly doing it with One Piece, but this is the first thing I've watched that I had no idea what was going on. No manga history. No, I don't know if it's original anime, but wow, this. Yeah, I To Be Hero X 1 through 10. I'm giving it an 8.5. It's fantastic. It's hard to give something a 9 or a 10 because I haven't been in the game for so long, and I realized how long I've been out of the game when I was making my top 5 favorite animes of all time list. But it's fantastic. It's episodic. It's like, gosh, I want to compare it to Mandalorian, but that's a terrible show. But it is. It's got 4 episodes with one character, 3 episodes with a different character, 4 episodes with another character, 2 episodes, and it introduces a bunch of characters with one big background story going on. And granted, each one of these characters that are inside inside their little episodic saga, I guess we could say, they get complete stories, which is nice, because I know that's almost contradictory to what I just said a little bit ago, or not a little bit ago, haven't said, but I've been saying with Peacemaker, these characters and these heroes are getting complete stories that, I mean, you're hooked. You're immediately hooked. And another thing that's cool is it's going forward and backwards in time. So each character is getting their story told in the future or in the past. And it's always a character that was seen inside the last character's story. So you're like, So I guess I should establish too. So To Be Hero X is a story about heroes that live in Japan that have a ranking system where the more rank you have, the stronger your power is. Their power system relies in trust, and trust is a number of people that believe in you. And the higher your trust number is, the higher your power is, the stronger your power is. And it's a really cool, unique thing. But it takes place in a world similar to The Boys. It's dark. It is very dark. There are heroes getting murdered. There are heroes doing bad things. And what's good, what's bad perspective, right? I really recommend it. I enjoyed it. I had so much fun. I always wanted to watch another episode. It really took me a while, to be honest, though, because I just didn't have the time with work and with trying to get, oh, hey, shush. Sorry. But like, I was always wanting to finish a character, and it was absolutely fantastic. The animation is great. I mean, there's a character who fights in turning reality from 2D to 3D, and it's visually amazing. There is a hero, and I'm going to try to keep this, like I said, spoiler free, because I want everyone to enjoy this. And it definitely has enticing stories, but the shock factor is what keeps you coming back. And there is a character with one of the saddest backstories ever. Not ever, but it's very sad. And I mean, his backstory alone was it was top 10 for sure. But yeah, To Be Hero X I'm calling it the anime that got me back into anime. It's an 8.5. It's fantastic. I don't think I'm excited for season 2. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I really recommend, if you're into anime or if you're looking for something to watch, this is the way to do it. This is the way to go. It's fun. There's so many highs and there's so many lows, and it's not just action, but there's romance, and then there's feel good, and then there's feel sad. It's got every emotion, it's great. In a show where you're using multiple characters from diverse point of views, you don't want every character to feel or give you the same feeling. And it was fresh. It was original. I haven't seen anything like it. I was excited to get off work and watch. I wouldn't say I would watch an episode, but I'd watch a character. So you watch your 2-3 episodes with a certain character as the main character. And how many times did I just say character? It was fantastic. It's great. I highly recommend. Yeah. In my top 5 anime of all time. I don't think this has an order. So it's my top 5. There's no 5, 4, 3, 2. There is a number 1. I have a number 1. If you know me, you're kind of just listening to me. You know what it is. But my 5 through 2 are, you could put any of them anywhere. So I'm going to kind of start with like oldest going forward, just because I feel it's the most fair, because it doesn't really matter. But my honorable, I'm going to call them, my podiums, you know? My first podium slot is going to be Yu Yu Hakusho. That was the first ever anime I remember watching as a kid. I mean, Dragon Ball was there, but Yu Yu Hakusho, I just feel like I was more present there. My brain was it remembers that. And I remember just laying in bed watching Toonami at probably like 11 p.m., but when you're like 6, that might as well be 4 a.m., you know? Yeah, it's the show I remember turning the TV on once everyone was asleep, and because I was fortunate enough to have a TV in my room as a kid. Pretty crazy, actually. But like, you know, that's what I remember. I loved it. It's just a dude beating ass. You know, when you're a kid, you don't need much. And hold up. Let me not take away from Yusuke, but Yu Yu Hakusho, it was great. It's a nostalgia answer. And I'm not big on people giving nostalgia answers, but I loved it. Rewatched it a couple of years back, maybe in 2018, 2017. And the Tournament of Power is one of the greatest arcs ever. It's phenomenal. Yeah. And then another honorable mention. I don't know which one to go, so I'm going to do which one finished first. And Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, this one was an interesting pick because I love Full Metal Alchemist. I do. I have zero bad things to say about it. It's a perfect anime. But like, there's things that are done well, and then there's things that we like. And I love this anime. But I feel like there's things that I liked more and I couldn't remember. I was looking down list after list, and I kept feeling in my heart like I'm missing something. But yeah, Full Metal Alchemist is phenomenal. It's probably in everyone's top 5. It's the anime that I recommend people watch when they say, hey, I'm new to anime, what should I watch? Attack on Titan, I think, is too long, too slow. Full Metal Alchemist has the perfect amount of episodes. It's a little bit longer than a 1-season thing, so you can definitely like grind it, but it's not too long where you know, it's not the One Piece journey. And it's got action, it's got romance, it's got sadness. What you give is what you get. In like everything has a price. Great life point of views. It's a travel anime, an adventure. It's just the perfect anime. It really is. I mean, absolutely nothing bad to say about it. I just felt like in my heart there was something that I liked more, and I don't know what it is. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the perfect anime to watch if you need something to watch and you're trying to get into the genre. Yeah, and then my other honorable mention podium. I'm gonna say this one now. So this is not, obviously I said I was gonna do chronological order. This is not chronological order. It's definitely not a top 5 anime for me, but it felt like for me as a person, I needed to put some form of romance anime because I am a hopeless romantic to the max. I love a good romance. I know you can make fun of me in the comments if you want, but Kaguya-sama Love is War was absolutely amazing. It was so good. I loved it. I actually watched the first season, finished the manga up until like 4 years before it finished. I got caught up in the manga, and then I was reading week to week for a couple of years. But it's great. It's just, Shinomiya was my phone case for several years. I was like super anime nerd with this anime girl on his phone case. I loved it. It was so fun. It's such a unique way of love, like to show love is two people who love each other, but they can't admit it because they need to get the other one to do it. And they're the two geniuses of the school, but they're idiots. I love it. I love little corny, cheesy stuff like that. I had to put it in there. I had to. I would be struck down if I didn't. And then my number 4, which is not number 4, but again, this is a nostalgia one. It's a part of who I am. If you know me, this is very obvious, but it's obviously Naruto. Naruto Shippuden. I'm putting them both in there because it's my list and I can do what I want. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's so great. And I spent over 20, maybe 20. Oh my gosh. I spent at least 15 years of my life watching this, reading this, playing this, the video games, the toys, the Toonami, the late nights, like I remember on Friday nights, the tuning exams. And I vividly remember watching Gaara drop the ankle weights and beat Rock Lee, drop the ankle weights and beat the heck out of Gaara. I mean, phenomenal. I have nothing bad I have a lot of bad things to say about Naruto. It's not a perfect anime by any means, but it's just, that's the one. Everyone's got that one thing that is flawed, but it's a part of who they are. And I think the Pain arc is the greatest anime arc ever. Yeah, the 6 Paths of Pain, Jiraiya, rest in peace, my goat Jiraiya. I didn't mean to bring that up because now I'm sad. Rest in peace, Jiraiya. But like, it's so good, and there's so many reasons to dislike it, and everyone will let you know. But it's kind of just like middle fingers up. I love it. I love it, and I'm proud to say that. Obviously, all I have left is my number 1 spot, and this is my number 1 spot. Everything else you could put in any position, but number 1 is none other than Code Geass. If you know me, you know. It's just the greatest piece of greatest anime ever. Only flaws, it's like a mech anime. I'm not a fan of that. But Lelouch is the greatest main character of all time. Greatest power, smartest character. Lelouch is the GOAT. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. the characters, the world building, the way he uses his characters, the way he is being outsmarted, but he's not being outsmarted. He's outsmarting them. It's just a giant game of chess, and he's trying to win the game, but he's taking over countries and ending slavery. Sick. Yeah, and then I think it's one of the greatest endings of all time as well. I think it's just so poetic for what happens. The anime is over 15 years old, but like, I don't want to spoil it. Like, I want, if you haven't seen this anime and you respect any form of critique that I have, like you'll give this a shot. It's 50 episodes, 53, I think, 53 episodes. It's a little longer, but if you make it all the way through, which you should, it's just fantastic. It's just so good. I was going to say I plan to do a lot of things, but I don't want to kind of reveal that. It's phenomenal. It's just the characters, the world building. I mean, come on. Like, I don't know how to praise it without giving things away, but he's just so smart. He's a genius, and he's reacting in real time always. It's so good. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, and then next I want to go into the game of the year, because all I have left is to talk superhero things after this. I don't know how I kind of want to tackle this. It was something I wanted to talk about, but me being ill-prepared, I didn't know how to talk about it. So I have 4 contenders for game of the year. 2 of them are not out yet. One of them I'm still currently playing. I was hoping to have beaten the game prior to recording, but life happens, work happens, extra work happens, and then you got to do what you got to do. The video games are obviously a privilege, and that is something that I can accept and say, hey, I'll get to that when I can. I feel like when it comes to, I do treat this podcast a little bit like work, but like I have to watch the things I have to watch before I can play the video games. It is a privilege. And I enjoy doing it, like I don't want to think like I don't like it, but so my game of the year predictions, the 4 that I have are Hollow Knight Silk Song, which I'm still playing. Expedition 33 came out in May. Came out in May. And then I have Ghost of Yotei, which comes out in October. And then I have Silent Hill F, which also comes out in October. Those are my 4 predictions for what game of the year could be. So I'll talk about Silent Hill and Ghost of Yotei just because they're not out yet. I feel like it'll be a little easier. Silent Hill is just a Hideo Kojima game. Enough said. It's super possible for anything Hideo Kojima does to win an award, and nobody would be surprised. Death Stranding 2 came out this year. I didn't get to play it yet, but it's just, I didn't hear that many great things. Not that I heard bad things, but when Death Stranding 1 came out, there was definitely that cult fan base that emerged for this new game. And I feel like the community died. So I don't have high expectations, but I don't have bad expectations either. I think it's just a good game. So yeah, Silent Hill F is a horror game. I mean, if you've played any of the Silent Hills, they're all the same, except this one takes place in Japan. The art in the trailer looks phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. If you know me, I'm into the Japanese culture. I will be getting this. I love my horror games. I hate my horror games, though. But it does bring me a smile when my friends are kind of watching me play and listen to me scream. Regardless, just the art alone, I think, carry this game to the video game awards. And all the Silent Hill games are great. If Silent Hill just stays true to what it is, I don't think it'll have any problem getting a nomination. And then Ghost of Yotei. So Ghost of Tsushima was the original game, came out in 2020, and it actually did not win Game of the Year, which everyone in the community thought was a snub. Last of Us 2 did. And for everyone that played Last of Us 2, I would say it's an 80-20 split. You hated the ending. Don't want to talk about Last of Us. We're here to talk about Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei. Ghost of Tsushima was just an original game, a independent samurai story perspective, and it was just fantastic. It was like reading a book. It was like playing a book in real time, and wow, it was phenomenal. The raid system was so fun. All your friends were different type of samurai, and it was great. The game was great. There are zero complaints I have for Ghost of Tsushima because I mean it should have won Game of the Year, but at least it was Ghost of GOTY. Another game of just do what you did. No reason to not get a nomination. This is actually the crowd pleaser favorite for Game of the Year as of right now. Yeah, and then I also have Hollow Knight Silk Song. So I am currently playing that on the Nintendo Switch right now. Not as far as I would like to be, but it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It's one of those games where I understand why there's not a bigger community for it. Now, if you are in that community, if you have played the original Hollow Knight game, you know what I'm talking about. But a game that doesn't have the story kind of thrown in your face gets lost in translation a lot of times, and people misunderstand it. So a lot of people will think this is just some Metroid-esque kind of screen swiper, and it's so much more than that. The puzzles in this game are heightened, and I'm only at a chunk out of the way through. I have no doubt in my mind it'll get a nomination. I just don't know what it takes for a game like that to win Game of the Year. And then I have my personal preference for what I think is going to win Game of the Year. A game that I feel like I was ahead of the curve. Like I had waited for this game for years. Expedition Claire Obscures, Expedition 33. Yeah, talk about a game that came out of nowhere. If you know me, I love my Persona games. I love my Fire Emblem games, my turn-based strategy games. There's nothing I love more. My favorite genre of games. You take turn-based and you give it a real-time combat, not sim, but just you incorporate a little bit of what everyone likes about open-world single-player games, and you just, there it is. Like that's what this game is, and it's so good. It's so good. I mean, it's just the story, and then Act 1. Oh, the ending to Act 1 alone. I mean, this is something that like, and it's bigger than the game. Like they will make a movie off of this. They will make a show off of this because it's so open-ended. I mean, the possibilities are absolutely insane, and it's got its side progression. It's got its main storyline. It's got just so many things that we can do with this. But yeah, I didn't say much, but I said a lot. It's fantastic. And then, yeah, fantastic. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm kind of yapping, but I'm just going through the game in my head in real time. And some of those fights are, wow, some of those fights are insane. But without further ado, let's go into superhero stuff. I feel it's best I talk with my top 5 least favorite MCU films because I want to save my Peacemaker episode for the end. This is in no order because I think all these movies are terrible. And how do you rank bad? Like bad is bad. I'm doing one film per series. So Thor 2, I think, is worse than Thor Love and Thunder. Do I think both of those could be in the list? Probably. But Thor 2, The Dark World just felt absolutely... It was so pointless. Introduced the Reality Stone, so I guess huge, right? Pointless. And then we're talking about pre-Avengers... Age of Ultron. Yeah, this is pre-Age of Ultron. But just pre-Infinity War. Yeah, I guess that's the term. Yeah, pre-Infinity War, like, you know, like we're developing the stones. It was just boring. Nobody cared. And I don't want to review all these movies because I'm going to review one of them because it's a hot take. But all these movies, you know, they just don't care. They were irrelevant to the theme of everything going on. And if they were, it was just so bad. It ruined what was going on. So I have Thor 2, and then I have Ant-Man 3. Quantumania. What the actual? I'm trying to prevent not curse on this podcast, but what the actual? We just watched Kang literally die to ants. And I mean like literally. I couldn't believe my eyes. And this was like the movie this was the first movie with the big bad since Thanos. Thanos is done. And now we have Kang the Conqueror throughout all dimensions, throughout all timelines. This was the Kang. And he gets smoked by ants? Are we for real? Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, James Gunn. I'll get to you, James. And then I have Black Widow. Black Widow was just a disgrace to Scarlett Johansson. This was the first movie after Infinity War. This was the first, or after Endgame, I apologize. First movie after Endgame was a prequel movie. Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, she is forever gone in the MCU timeline. And this is how we pay our respects. Just a disaster of a movie. Everything was a disaster. The only saving grace is Yelena, Florence Pugh, we get introduced to, who is, unless this Tom Holland movie is everything everyone expects it to be, I mean, she's the face of the MCU now. And that's just the truth. But Black Widow, wow. Time for the hot take. And I know this is going to piss a lot of people off. I've said this many times IRL. If you're friends with me, you know. Well, Black Panther. Black Panther is unbelievably trash. Visuals, top 5 MCU movie. Soundtrack, top 1 MCU movie. There's nothing better than the soundtrack in Black Panther. But I mean, the storyline of the movie is so lost. The whole movie is about T'Challa proving he's more than the Black Panther. He is right to be the king of Wakanda. And that's T'Challa, not the Black Panther. And Killmonger wants to give vibranium. I mean, he wants to weaponize it, so there's a little bit of discretion, but he wants to give vibranium to the world. He wants to sell it to him. And T'Challa says no. And so we go through this whole movie of T'Challa fighting his inner ego, and Killmonger wins, proving he needed the Black Panther, but he doesn't need it because T'Challa can do this. And then at the end of the movie, T'Challa not only wins because he gets the Black Panther powers back, he gives vibranium to the world. Like, there's so much more we could have done than killing Killmonger. We could have just talked to the dude. And he tried to talk at first. Granted, he came in with an attitude and ego. I get that. But we could have... there's some middle ground we could have reached before, and it was just, the movie's a mess. It's just such a mess. The characters are great, the world is great, the visuals are great, the soundtrack is great, but the story is so subpar. It's one of those things, and I've said this before, I hate things that get credit that don't deserve it. It'll just make me hate it even extra. But this movie, I mean, people were saying it's the best MCU movie ever, and I just look in their eyes like, are you serious? Are you drunk? I don't know. Okay, so Peacemaker, episode 4. Yeah, so the first thing I have is Michael Rooker is old. Oh my goodness. Was watching it with my boy Nathan. I mentioned him last week. We were watching it on Discord, and wow. We looked it up. He's 70 years old. He is getting there. And I don't know if he needs a paycheck, because that's what it feels like for everyone in this James Gunn movie, is we're just there to be there, because why not? It was decent. It was, dude, what are we doing? There's still no big plot yet. Like, what are we doing? So I put down, my exact words were small stakes, small rewards. Yeah, like what I had said earlier, it just feels like every character is doing something to add minutes to the episode so we can get through, because every episode, like, I feel if you cut out the first, so if every episode is 45 minutes, if you cut out the first 35 minutes of an episode and you just watch the last 10, that is the Peacemaker plot we have so far. And like, that's just unacceptable. Like, it's everyone. There's just the same jokes constantly. I don't find the humor in it anymore. You know, it's like in Step Brothers, you know, when he comes back for the second interview and when he farts and he goes, and Seth Rogen's like, yeah, that's not funny anymore. Like you're wearing a suit and we're selling footballs. You know, like that's what this feels like now. And I don't know if that's Peacemaker, the character himself, if it's my hate for James Gunn, but it's just, Economos has been doing the same thing since episode 1. Vigilante is literally in every episode a phone call away to save the day. We have Adebayo has the worst background plot of all. She's just got some shitty girlfriend that we don't know, going through a breakup. And she just Ubers Chris everywhere. Like it's actually pathetic. It's actually pathetic to me how bad this show is. And then Harcourt too. She just has no real plot. Granted, she got it at the end of the episode. Maybe. We'll see where it goes. But she's just a shitty background character at the moment. Like, she just support for Chris and his heartstrings. I don't know. It's just bad. Like, everything just feels like I don't care. I really don't care. The scene with Harcourt and General Flag. Actually, let me go back. Let me talk about a plus that I like. When Economos called Judo Master a Kung Fu Bulbasaur, that was like genuinely hilarious. I want to give the praise because I don't do anything but talk bad about this show. But then we have Judo Master. Like, he's not funny anymore. It was cool the first time. Now let's do a different character, which is something I said I didn't want in the first episodes, with like banking on this show's survivability and highs coming from other characters. But like, at this rate, just do it. Just do it. Like, give us some kind of substance. But at the end of the episode, we have Rick Flag talking to Harcourt, and their dialogue is it's really bad. It's bad acting. It was bad dialogue. It actually ends with her like, I don't even know how to explain it. So she walks out and she says she's not going to turn her back on Chris. And then she goes, I'm actually going to meet him right now. Like, what the fuck? Sorry. Dang it. Well, there it goes. I don't understand how this show got greenlit with the scripts and the writing it has. Like, I do, because the one greenlighting it is the one who wrote it, but it's just, it feels so lost. I feel like there's a map of, I don't know if Chris lives in Bloodhaven. I know in the New World it's Bloodhaven, but we have a map and it's like Charlie Sheen and It's Always Sunny. And he's pointing to several different places at once. And there's just scribbles on the board now. Yeah, I think the hype for James Gunn with me personally is gone. I think I'm out at this point. I think I'm gonna continue to watch for you guys. I'm hyped for Lanterns. I'm hyped for Clayface. Men of Tomorrow. I mean, just with what we have, this writing is just, it's just like, I don't care. It's not good. It's not good at all. And I don't understand what we're doing. It's just the same jokes with a non-existent plot. And we're halfway done. We're halfway done and I don't know where we're going. And just, it's sad. It's actually really sad, you know, because I think a couple weeks ago I said if there's any time to be a comic book fan, it's now. And that I think is still true, but we pumped the brakes so hard, and that's because of James Gunn, you know? And so instead of pumping the brakes, let's talk about something that we can hit the gas for. And this is something that is all gas, no brakes. I've talked about 2 of these before. Going to talk about the third out of 6. But absolute Batman, the absolute universe. Here we are again. Yeah, what happens if Bruce Wayne grew up with his parents? Here it is. The art in this is fantastic. It's a new take on Batman, never before done. And the reason I'm bringing this one up now is because they have officially announced that actually, that's rude. Let me grab that. In October, late October, they are going to officially be putting all the characters together. They have confirmed they're going to do Absolute Green Arrow. They're going to do Absolute Joker. They're going to do Absolute Hawkman. Super cool. Every character in this Absolute universe has an amazing backstory. It's an amazing take on a character, keeping the old themes of everything, but brand new takes. So Bruce Wayne obviously becomes an adult with his parents, and his best friends are the Penguin, the Riddler, Killer Croc, and Two-Face. What? It's so cool. The art is phenomenal. I'm going to spoil the first chapter for you. So Deathstroke in this universe is Alfred Pennyworth, his butler. It's just it's a cool take. It's unique. I can't recommend this Absolute universe enough. October, I just said they are bringing them all together. Wonder Woman is going to be the key character that does the searching and the bringing of everyone together. The Joker, they've talked about him inside this. We haven't really seen him quite yet. We see a frame. We hear his name on the phone talking to other people. This is the coolest rendition of Bane that has ever existed. It's just a fantastic way to view Gotham and do Gotham and all the characters, giving them all new, fresh, and original origin stories. Fantastic. But yeah, that's kind of what I got for today. Another episode where I feel like I'm just kind of letting everyone down and talking negative things. And I don't want to do that. I really don't. I want to talk positive, but James Gunn quite literally sucks the life out of me. So next week, what are we going to be talking about? Let's talk about my top 5 favorite Pixar movies. I want to do something that's joyful and, I want to talk positivity. So top 5 favorite Pixar films. We're going to go over Peacemaker, episode 5. Supposedly episode 5 and 6 are James Gunn's magnum opus, and he's high praise, says they're the best work he's ever done. Hopeful, but not holding my breath. Gonna review Him, the new football movie starring Marlon Wayans, and I am so sorry, I should know this. Let me see. Cast starring Tyreek Withers. I have not seen anything he is, but he's gonna be playing Benny Mathis. I'm excited for that. Gonna be going over Gen V season 2. We are finally here. Gonna see what that's like. The Boys is at a great spot. They're choosing to go forward without Chance Perdomo's character, who played Andre. Rest in peace. He got into a motorcycle accident a year and a half ago, and they've decided to move forward. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. But I love The Boys. I love Gen V. I think Gen V season 1 is better than the last 2 seasons of The Boys. So let's keep the momentum high. These characters are all fresh and original, and it's The Boys. You never know what's going to happen in a good way. Yeah. If you've seen any of these movies, let me know what you think. If you are enjoying Peacemaker, let me know. If you're not, leave it down in the comments. But I appreciate you guys always. Peace and love.